Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Dave's Top 3000 Songs of the Rock Era. Today I'm up to song number 2247, and that one is Wooden Ships by Crosby, Stills, and Nash. This came out in 1969. It wasn't released as a single, but they did release it on their 1969 debut album, just called Crosby, Stills, and Nash. And they also performed it at Woodstock, the Woodstock Music Festival. I'm sure you guys are all familiar with that. It was one of the biggest rock concerts of all time, 500,000 people roughly, in upstate New York for a 3 day festival. I was only 7 years old when it was going on. I didn't know about it until about 10 years later. But heard it was pretty great. Crosby, Stills, and Nash heard did a lot of really good songs with that. And here's a picture of them performing at Woodstock. And they did perform this song, Wooden Ships, among many others. And I learned something new about this song, Wooden Ships. I never actually knew what the song was about before, believe it or not. But I looked it up today, and apparently it was kind of a doomsday scenario song about nuclear holocaust, the aftermath of the nuclear holocaust. They were imagining that, that was going to be basically the end of the world, um, you know, uh, and then, but there was going to be some survivors, and I guess the lead singer is supposed to be one of the survivors, and he runs into another survivor, asks him for some purple berries because he hasn't eaten for like 6 weeks or and then they decide that they're going to go sail off on a wooden ship. And I guess there's a bunch of wooden ships that all the survivors decide to embark on and form a new world, hopefully a better world with world peace. So I think it has a very powerful message. I'm glad we haven't had a nuclear holocaust. I've been worried about it for many times at various points in my life, as I think most people have since after World War II, because it has been a real danger. And right now, I understand the doomsday clock is set the closest to midnight it's been so far. 85 seconds to midnight. Things are pretty bad these days. So let's just hope for the best. But anyway, that's what the song Wooden Ships is about. And I think it's a good song. It's not the only song on my list about a nuclear holocaust. I already featured It's a Mistake by Men at Work, and I think I have a few others coming up. Anyway. And I already featured a couple songs by Crosby, Stills, and Nash. I featured Southern Cross, I think it was number 2541. I also featured Wasting on the Way at 2436, and I might have even featured another one, I can't remember. And I've got several more coming up by them, as well as by Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young. Sometimes they performed with Neil, along with Neil Young, who was another really great folk musician. So I guess that's pretty much everything I have to say about this song Wooden Ships by Crosby, Stills, and Nash. So thank you for watching. You guys rock. I'll see you next time. Bye.